Hello and welcome to the Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Samueli. With me today, of course, is co-founder of the Gaggle, Peter Lavelle. So, Peter, there's always time for a bad idea. There's no, there's always plenty of people who are ready to entertain the worst ideas. And so one of the really lousy ideas doing the rounds now is, hey, what about all these assets, Russian assets, like the central bank assets, but also the assets of various rich Russians who kept their money in the West? Hey, why don't we just take all that money and pass it on to Ukraine as somehow reconstruction aid? And there is a number of problems with this proposal, primarily that it's outright theft. You can't just grab people's money and then decide to spend it as you will. I mean, they freeze money, but theoretically, the freezing is supposed to just be until the such time as you're prepared to release it, and then of course you never release it. But you're not really supposed to, even according to the way the Americans and the Europeans play it, you're not supposed to just spend it on your own projects. But the Americans have just generally been pushing the envelope on that. And so they said, oh, well, we can use Iranian money to compensate, people who we say are victims of terrorism. But if they try to go for the central bank funds, well, that's, is clearly property belonging to a state. So if you take that money and then spend it on whatever you want to spend it on, that seems to me like an act of aggression against another state. And that really does raise all sorts of questions as to you really want to go down that path. So anyway, what do you think about this great idea?
One of the most fundamental tenets of modern life, modern economy, is committing yourself and honoring contracts. Okay, I mean, this is breach of unbelievable proportions and creates a very, very dangerous precedent. Okay, number one, who gets to decide all of this, and why does that entity get to decide this? Okay.
Right.
And we're in virgin territory. Nobody knows. Okay, right. This is something that's never been done before. Right. I think even the hard currency reserves of Nazi Germany were never.
No one touched those. No, that's right. So that's right. I mean, so they think they can decide, but on what legal basis? How do you just decide that you can just take this money and spend it on whatever projects that you want to spend it on? There is no legal basis for it, and then at some point, Russia's going to say we want our money back, and then what exactly are you going to do? Is, oh, well, we've already spent it. That then Russia can just grab whatever it wants of other countries' properties. So it's a really dumb idea, but you can see all these nitwits in the European Commission sitting there figuring out, well, how can we do this? How can we take this all the billions and just hand it over to Ukraine?
Yeah, and what is Ukraine going to do with it?
Right.
You thought about that?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
No. It really shows the dead end nature of the EU's policy. So none of your sanctions have had any meaningful impact, except for hurt your own people, your own industry, your own future economic and financial prospects, and not against Russia. And now you're going to do this. Okay, it shows that they're completely at a loss what to do, because they don't think things through. Okay, everything is knee-jerk, everything is ideological, everything is virtue signaling, everything is a purity test. And what they think they live in some their own vacuum garden. There are a lot of countries, Indonesia, South Africa, Pakistan, India, China. They got some dough, they got some cash. You think they will ever let you get near it now? Ever?
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, that's
I mean, get out of the dollar. Okay,
right,
number one.
right,
Okay,
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
the biggest nuisance in the world today is the Treasury Department. They're the biggest nuisance.
right,
Okay,
right.
and we see de-dollarization going on at an accelerated rate, and then contemplating even doing that. Well, that just puts another nail in the coffin.
Right.
Okay, these people are thieves now.
Right. No,
They're not just exploiters; they're thieves.
they're thieves. Okay, and also keep in mind that none of these countries are at war with Russia. So, after all, as Stoltenberg tirelessly tells us, NATO is not a party to this conflict. So if you're not even at war, there's even less of any legal basis. You don't have any UN Security Council resolutions to back you up. You don't have any International Court of Justice, the World Court rulings to back it up. You have no legal basis whatsoever. Just that you don't like the Russians and you want to support Ukraine. It's not any kind of a legal basis. And of course, as you say, I mean, who's going to keep his money anywhere in Europe or the United States? Because if they did it, against Russia, they're sure as hell going to do it to us. They dare to do it to Russia. If you're Indonesia, yeah, why wouldn't they grab our money?
Yeah, and so again, George starts out on the perfect note. This is a really, really bad idea because it sets a very dangerous precedent, and there's no going back from it. Oh, this is an exception. Just one. No,
Right.
people. No, I'm not going to let you do that with my money. Okay,
Right.
no,
Right.
no.
Right.
You've shown your face.
Right.
You've shown who you
Right.
are, and again, George, rules-based order. Where is that in all?
Exactly. Yes. What rules? And so the other day, I think there was some Russian, his money. His name escapes me, but Merrick Garland said, "Oh yeah, we're going to give this money to Ukraine because this Russian has been found guilty of violating U.S. sanctions." You think, well, why is he under some sort of obligation to violate, not to violate U.S. sanctions? What are U.S. sanctions to him? U.S. sanctions have no validity in international law. I mean, these are just unilateral sanctions by the United States. So the idea that, well, he has committed a crime. What's his crime? Oh, he's violated U.S. sanctions, and he's a Russian, so we're just going to take his money and pass it on to Ukraine. I mean, this is so they think they can do this. They think, well, it's just an individual. They know the central bank, that's a bit problematic. Then they're thinking about that, but they know that's a little bit more difficult. But hey, we can just grab any rich Russians' assets and just hand them over to Ukraine. But of course, that's theft, just as much as anything else is.
Yeah, but again, the West thinks it lives in a vacuum. I mean, the rest of the world is watching this, and they're just, it's astounding
Right.
that here's, a part of the world that, rules-based order. We need, honoring contracts and, agreements and all that. And then you turn around and do this. I mean, the negative impact is it's exponential. I mean, people, this would really, I mean, the entire the Bretton Woods, agreement and all this, you can, if you put your money in this currency, it's safe. You can take it literally to the bank. Okay.
Right.
And that is absolutely being shredded right now. Shredded. And is it going to crush Russia? No, but Russia, as one of the most important global economies, it's not going to touch Europe or the West in general for generations if they do something like this. You can't trust these people; they're pathological liars.
Right. Yeah. No, that's right. And there's going to be, and at some point, I mean, if they start spending it, and there's some point when Russia says, "Give us our money back," if they say, "Well, we don't have it, we spent it all," then of course Russia grabs whatever it has. It's perfectly entitled, for compensation. Or if you have spent it all and you decide, well, maybe we should give it back to them, then they're going to the taxpayers are going to have to foot the bill. I mean, they're going to have to impose these costs on the taxpayers because somebody's going to have to pay for it. You can't just take someone's money and say, well, that's it, we're done. We spent your money the way we wanted to spend it.
Yeah, but what is so frustrating for George and I is that I know, the focus on the conflict in Ukraine is upmost. I mean, with George and I and our viewers here, but it's going to come to an end one day. It's not going to last forever. Okay.
Okay.
And then you're going to, what about the day after? Okay. How do we move forward? Okay. We
Right.
live in the same neighborhood, can't change the neighborhood. You're not going to move.
Right.
Okay. Isn't this a way possibly, to go back, a pan-European security arrangement, a more transparent and equitable international financial system? There's a lot of places you can go on here.
Right.
But no, that cuts it off. It creates a chasm that cannot be overcome.
Yep.
Okay. Again, the law of unintended consequences, something like this, it is irreparable. I mean, we can disagree on borders. Okay, we can disagree on referenda, but you stole my effing money, man.
Right. Yeah. No, that's right. And then you have to ask, well, why do you think that this is justified? You didn't even think this was justified against Hitler. And now you think that this is justified in this case. They haven't given any sort of explanation other than, well, we're going to support Ukraine, got to do whatever for Ukraine. Why? Why are you violating all tenets of domestic law and international law for Ukraine? And given that you keep saying you're not a party to the conflict, so they're not able to answer any of these questions. But like all these things, they just have this relentlessness to it, just like sanctions. Oh, well, 11th round of sanctions. 10 rounds haven't worked. Maybe the 11th one will do it. So it's it really is a truly dumb idea. But we know we can always rely on them to come up with an even dumber idea.
Well, you do that, then Russia will take something of theirs, okay? And it will be perfectly justified. And it won't be unprovoked, that's for sure, okay?
That's right. Yeah.
Now, George is right. This is a really bad idea. And this bad idea, if enforced, will ricochet for a long, long time. And you have no idea what it's going to hit, okay? Yeah. That's what this is all about. Yeah. It's a fool's errand run by fools with foolish ideas. It's just it's hard to fathom. George and I could probably talk about this for another hour and think about a number of different scenarios.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Okay, but it's just a really bad idea in so many different ways. Okay, right. And the West is part of the world where you're not supposed to do these things. We have the rule of law. We have contracts.
That's right. Exactly. The rule of law, rule of contract, the EU treaty, and the European, the Convention on Social and Political Rights and Social and Economic Rights and whatever. Yeah, violates all of them. But hey, the rules-based order means we decide what the rules are, and we get to decide what the order is. So, but the amazing thing is that this bad idea, it just keeps percolating, and no one kind of says, hey, just forget it.
No, is absolutely right. There are no good ideas percolating, are there?
No good ideas percolating.
Like ending the conflict.
Exactly. There are no good ideas percolating. If it's percolating, it must be a really dumb idea.
All righty. Okay, everybody. That's we're going to keep an eye on this because this is a really important issue, and I don't think it's getting the coverage. Obviously, it's not getting the coverage that it deserves because it's really could be a dramatic breach. So this is the Gaggle with Peter and George. We're on Locals. Gaggle.locals.com, and George has a live stream following this. George will put this up, and then he's going to get a big glass of water or tea to keep his throat in working order because he's got a lot of talking ahead.
A lot of talking ahead. So that's at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So later on this evening, please join me. Come with comments, criticisms, and suggestions. On the way out the door, think about little buddy, because at the moment he thinks about seizing something and assets and so on, he said, yeah, count me in. I'm seizing the
it's a free-for-all now.
Exactly, the tip jar, grab that. We don't want to give Buddy all sorts of bad ideas. So if you have a few bob in your pocket, whip them out, dunk them in his tip jar, that'll calm him down. All his asset seizure ambitions will be terminated for a while. So we're very grateful for all of your help and friendship and support. The more you're able to donate, the more of these videos we can make, the more we can improve on the technology, and above all, the more we can just keep money away from those frozen assets. So remember, if you like the gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.